do self-coaching. I always challenge myself when it's time to implement simple habits because my brain is always telling me, why are you doing this? This won't work. And it brings me in a spiral of not boosting myself for self-improvement, but actually self-doubting and minimizing my confidence. So I challenge you to follow me in these three simple steps, or 3 steps, simple habits that you can implement in your life. And I want you to do this simple exercise for each of those steps that I'll go through. At one point in my life, when I was doubting a lot, when I was a single parent, when I was listening to everybody and also listening basically to my voice in my head telling me that I won't succeed, that my daughter was too difficult, that I did not get the career that I wanted, that everything seemed like a failure, personal-wise and professionally. And then at one point, my mental health just went spiraling down from there. But I want to teach you a few things that really, really helped me, and I'm still learning, but really helped me move on, do a lot of progress in my life, and aim for my better self. So why self-improvement feels really difficult? Because sometimes we just lack motivation. And we have that voice, like I was saying, that keeps repeating that, why are we doing this? Why are we making the effort? It won't work. The results aren't coming. And we start every day by asking ourselves, what's going to be different today? Sometimes also it's a lack of knowledge. I remember when I was in maybe my darkest moments so far, I needed to feed my brain and my soul and my heart with positive message. And instead of reading the news, I was following those great authors who taught me the real stuff. I remember at one point I was in my house, and I said, you know what? I want to feed myself with those positive words. I want to be in an environment where it's positively contagious. So I remember Hay House is a publishing house, had a conference in New York, and I said, you know what, I'm registering to this. I'm going to feed my head and my soul with positive. I'm sure I'm going to meet a lot of positive people. So I just drove there. Took me from where I was living at the time, 6 hours, drove there. I had like my brain telling me, you have no money. Why are you doing this? You should be spending that money on your kids, not on yourself. Is this going to be worth it? And I just had that internal voice that I needed it. And it was the best weekend ever. So lack of knowledge brought me to wanting to feed myself, feed my soul and my brain with more positive words. I remember every time I was going outside, biking or walking, I had my headset with either Tony Robbins telling me you can do it, and giving me tips and feeding my head with positive thoughts. I had Wayne Dyer, which I have all of these books in my shelf, where I just read, you know, his words of wisdom. But I always had in my head that fear of failure. And I'm still doing this video and a podcast today thinking, why am I doing this? Will this be useful for someone? And I said to myself, you know what? If I can help one person and teach you what I've learned, and I'm still learning and I'm still practicing, it will help you, and it will feed my soul and my brain, and I will feel valuable and useful, and I'll feel that I'll be doing something with my life. So that's why I'm doing this podcast. Self-improvement is also hard because sometimes we're just feeling overwhelmed with all these thoughts, all these fears, all these challenges. And let me tell you, I've got my share of challenges, having to raise a child with special needs. She's autistic. Also having to deal with people around me who had certain diseases, had also cancer. I was always in the helping seat, not thinking about my needs, not doing a lot of my stuff. And that's why I'm doing this podcast today. I want to teach you how to do a lot of these self-improvement, and at the same time bring a bit of that coaching skill that I've learned during that whole journey. So here's something that you can do, and I'm telling you, to this day, every time that I'm doing this in the morning or at night, my brain is still telling me, why are you doing this? But you know what? It works. This is journaling. So I've got my journal. It's empty this morning because I haven't been doing it. But if I were to tell you, write 3 things you want to focus on today, and not just focusing on tasks, but focusing on things that matters to you, things that you want to feel inside. So I want to feel re-energized. I want to feel that I'm contributing. I want to feel that I'm creating something that is valuable, even if it's not perfect, but it's valuable for you, for me, and I'm serving this world positively. So journaling helps you clarify your thoughts. It reduces also your stress because it gives you a sense of control, and it also brings a positive spin during the day. And actually, study shows that journaling can reduce stress by up to 20% in people and improve your goal achievement by 42%. So to prove you this is that I've got another journal. It's a bit sketchy. It's not super nice. It's not well written. People would say, you know what, France is not super good. But this is my creating journal, and it keeps me on track on what I really want to accomplish, what I want to create. So start your morning with, if you're feeling scattered, if you're feeling scattered, don't worry. Just write a few words on your journal. Focus on one task, maybe how you want to feel and what's going to be your contribution. And if I want to bring a bit coaching, just with this one morning habit, if you want to catch yourself, if you want to do self-improvement, you have to catch yourself and be self-aware. So as I do this, as I'm explaining this to you, what are you focusing on? Are you focusing on the imperfection of this podcast? Are you thinking that this habit is not for you? You've tried it, it doesn't work. Are you open to try it? Are you feeling some resistance? So this is part of the coaching process. It's catching you, putting yourself back into that self-doubting mode, which is actually bringing your motivation super low. So if you want to bring your motivation high, and you want to feel that you're progressing and you are feeling better, you need to have a desire to change and try new things and shut down that voice inside of you. So it means self-awareness. Let's move on to the second step that I'm asking you to do every day. And it brings me back to this example that I gave you in that introduction, is how are you feeding your brain with new ideas? Or are you stuck in a spiral that brings your energy down, brings your motivation down, brings your self-doubt expanding? So by exposing yourself to new ideas, it broadens your perspective, it opens your eyes to possibility, and it also boosts your cognitive function. So just 15 minutes a day, but start maybe with 6 minutes of reading. I love podcasts. I love videos. I love these authors who have podcast channels. So Tony Robbins have some. I think about Mel Robbins. I think about Oprah. I think she initiated that movement. I think about Louise Hay, who was the igniter of all that self-motivation, changing the words that we're using in our heads and changing those positive thoughts by affirmations. And did you know that actually Louise Hay created her first, I guess, life-changing project when she was 50. So there's never a perfect age to start something. And I think I'm the proof of that. During my entire career, I was always waiting for the perfect moment. But being a parent, having challenges, not having the career of my dream, it led me to always postponing what I really wanted to do, which was helping people and doing yoga sessions, podcasts like this, because I was always doubting about myself. So if you're reading positively, it can reduce your stress by 68% and improve your memory at the same time. So you rewire your brain, and you at the same time you feed your brain with positive. So I remember at one point when I was in the lowest moment with my two children, two daughters, I had new TV. Actually, I had a TV, but I was putting movies for children on there. I was not following the news. People may have think that I was disconnected, but to be honest, I was really good. At the same time, what I did at one point was completely disconnect with social media, because I felt I was just scrolling down and checking happiness of other people, and it made me feel like just worse. So when I felt stuck in those self-doubt, reading or having audio tapes or audio books feeding my brain gave me just a new inspiration. And when I was more doubting, I just had that voice inside my head taking over and shutting down the other voice saying, you know what, doesn't work. You're not meant to do this. You're not worth it. You're not good enough. So this is why actually I went to coaching, because I had to offer something that I was learning for myself. So my coaching question for you is, what kind of content or author would inspire you or challenge you? And just broaden your perspective, open up and observe yourself when you're listening, with your judgment mind, when someone is telling you try this, and just then see for yourself if it works for you. So how can you ensure that you commit for just 15 minutes a day? When is your perfect moment? Is it the morning? Is it when you are driving? I love driving and hearing audio books or podcasts now, but I remember when I was traveling a lot to do conferences and teach the methodology that I created, which was called Peda Yoga. It was the craziest thing. I was in a crisis mode as a mother, and I decided to write a book on how to teach children with special needs. And I've used yoga for myself. It worked. I created a book with this, and then it became a training, and then became kind of a movement where I trained more than 5,000 people. At that time, I felt, overwhelmed because I was a mother. I felt guilty because some weekends I was just leaving or bringing my children and giving conferences and then not being super available, so that my mind was saying you're not a good mother. But at the same time, you know what? I made a difference. And in retrospective, I feel that it was really worth it. And I had so much energy from people because we were together as a community living things, and I was teaching things, but at the same time learning so much from other people. And that's the same thing I live when I do individual or group coaching. I feel that I'm learning, and sometimes I feel I should be paying my clients to do coaching because I gain so much out of it. So you will gain a lot by feeding your soul and your brain with positive, with people that brings your energy up. The other thing that I think it's linked with journaling, and it's having a gratitude practice, saying thank you. It increases your positivity, your resilience. And I say thank you for all the challenges that I had in my life, with starting with my daughter who's different, who's autistic. It made me grow so much, and understanding different mindset, different minds. I also have a lot of gratitude to leaders who I've worked for, which I had so many conflicts. Not understanding where they were coming from helped me trying to put myself in their perspective, and at the same time have more negotiation skills and coaching questions. So when was the last time that you intentionally appreciated something that is super small? Start with small. This morning I appreciated being able to wake up a little bit later. My daughters are out of the house now, they're grown-ups. And I appreciate all of what's being offered to me, starting as small as my coffee in the morning that my husband makes. And that is super, super tasty and good and makes me feel good. So being grateful. And I want to leave you with this last powerful exercise. I want you to feel in your body those power poses. That's what I've learned so much in yoga and in coaching and in leadership and in teaching those practices. When you feel that your motivation is out, you're doubting yourself, lift your chin, roll back your shoulders like in the mountain pose or the tree pose in yoga, or the child pose, like when you are feeling that you have the weight of the world on your shoulders. Feel your breathing take expansion. Bring your arms up. Feel that you have a powerful mindset state. Even if you don't believe it, feel it. And bring that internal voice to say these words. I'm strong and resilient. I'm capable of achieving my goals. I embrace opportunities with confidence. I'm constantly growing and evolving. I'm grateful for the abundance in my life. And visualize yourself standing tall and receiving the abundance, receiving the powerful energy, receiving the help and the support, and offering it back to people. This is how we exchange energy, is by feeling it inside, living it inside, transforming your inside so you can attract the vibration of other people that will lift your spirit. It's super simple, but it's so tough to do. And that's my mindset right now, is to change that thinking about so tough to do by just doing it, breathing it, allowing it, feeling it, and offering it back. So this is why I'm doing these coaching capsules. And I integrate all the learnings that I'm doing, and I will repeat those exercises with more tips, more tools. So don't be afraid to practice that power pose. Lift your shoulders, stand tall, feel the confidence entering or vibrating in yourself, because the confidence is in yourself. You're shutting down. You're the one bringing yourself down. Yes, sometimes the weight of the world is super heavy on your shoulders, but it does not mean that you cannot stand tall, lift your chin, breathe, and allowing things to change. It has to start within yourself. So knowing all of this, what are you willing to do? What is your voice telling you in your head? Are you resisting? Are you willing to try? Are you willing to do things differently? Because if you think about it, we cannot change by doing the same things over and over and expect change. So focus on your desired state, outcome, objective, goal, name it the way you want it. But start by changing your inner self. Change that voice, breathe differently, integrate everything, be aware, and change the question. My last question for you is, what are you willing to do now? Now. And what will you be offering to others and teaching others? This is how you integrate things, is by offering it back, even if you don't master it. I know a lot of people who are saying, I can't teach what I don't know. You can't teach what you're learning. And that's awesome, because when you're teaching what you're learning, when you communicate on what you're learning and you offer it back, it creates more integration. It becomes more easy. It becomes easier. So breathe, inhale, exhale, stand tall, feel it, journal, be grateful, and catch yourself with more positive reading. Feed your brain and your soul with positive. Namaste.